here. We'll go ahead and I'm gonna pound this. You ready, Nolan? I'm ready. Hey. Welcome to our county council meeting tonight. Looks like we have some really special guests here. We're glad you're here with us. We'll go ahead and start with an opening by Councilman Garrity.
Yeah, so over the weekend I had the opportunity to hike up to the Wellsville Cone. I don't know if anyone's done that before, but it's not the highest peak in the valley, but the Wellsville mountain range is known as the steepest range in North America. This is a rise over run dimension because they're so narrow. And as you can imagine, because it's steep, it's a difficult hike. It's about 1,000 feet of elevation gain every mile. Some would describe this as type 2 fun. If you're not sure what that is, look it up on REI's website. This is the 10th time I've made the ascent up there, and I asked myself, why do I keep doing this? And so I want to summarize some of my thoughts. So first off, the views are incredible. You can see all the major waterways. You can see Benson Marina. You can see Cutler. You can see all the way to Willard Bay. And so it really gives you a perspective of the entire valley. You can look down on this courthouse, and it's about this big from up there. And so it helps whenever we get a sense of our own self-importance, it helps kind of put that into perspective of how big things are. And not only a sense of scale, but also the scale of time. So did you know there's fossils up there at 9,000 feet that are over 250 million years old? Were these at the bottom of the ocean at one time? Maybe. But certainly this mountain range has been around longer than I have, and it'll be there long after I'm gone. So next week we have the opportunity to celebrate our freedoms and the freedom to go enjoy amazing vistas like this, and reflect on some of the sacrifices that others have made to provide these opportunities for us to go enjoy this great land where we are as well as everywhere else. And I think it can provide the opportunity for us to consider our gratitude for these freedoms, as well as do what we can within our realm of responsibility to ensure others can enjoy them too. So before we recite the pledge, I just want to close my remarks with the lyrics of one of my favorite patriotic songs written by Woody Guthrie. And the lyrics are, "This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me." Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Keegan. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda of our last meeting. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we need to have a similar motion for the approval of the minutes. Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I?
Yeah,
I
of
said
this meeting, but that's fine.
the agenda of this meeting, the minutes now of last meeting. Did I get a motion on
Move to
that?
approve those minutes of June 10th.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of June 10th meeting. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'll abstain since I was gone last time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the county executive was not able to be here tonight. Dirk had to leave, and he will be back, but I guess he said there was nothing to report except that he appreciates us all being here, and there are no appointments at this time, so we don't have anything there. Items of special interest. We have a really special guest with us tonight. I wanted to take a minute to shine a light on someone truly special who is moving on at the end of this month. It's our Fire Chief, Rod Hammer. Rod has poured so much of his life into keeping our county safe and looking out for all of us. He spent 11 years as a volunteer, starting as a basic firefighter EMT and working his way up to assistant chief. Then 12 years ago, he took on the huge job of leading our county's fire services full-time. During his time as chief, Rod has been the glue, working tirelessly to bring together local departments across Cache County, including volunteer, career, and combination departments. His dedication to making our fire service better for every community has been unwavering and a true example of what it means to provide excellent leadership. Rod has always stood out to me for his passion and his willingness to take on whatever needs to be done. Furthermore, he doesn't just stick to the old ways. He became an executive fire officer through the National Fire Academy and has written, academic research on topics like fighting cancer and keeping firefighters safe in tough situations. It's clear he's someone who leads with experience, but also with a genuine desire to always find new ways to protect our firefighters and our residents. On behalf of Cache County Council and every single resident, we just want to say a huge thank you to Chief Hammer for 20-plus years of dedicated service. Your leadership, your know-how, and your commitment have made a real difference in our community. You've undoubtedly saved countless lives and protected so much of what we value here. Chief Hammer, we wish you a retirement full of joy, plenty of relaxation, and all the new adventures that you've been dreaming about. Thank you for absolutely everything. You'll be truly missed around here, but the good you've done with us will stick with us for a long time. So thank you so much, and I would like to...
He's already not shaving. What the flip, man?
You know how I get sometimes. It's been the greatest honor of my life to serve the public, especially with the team that I have here. Most of us have been working together for at least 10 years in this service, and I can't say enough how I've appreciated the council's backing and support. There have been times that I pushed a little, and I appreciate you not getting upset about that. I appreciate my wife and her support for all the meals missed and nights missed. Again, thank you for your support and for supporting the fire service. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, on that note, I would like to make a formal motion that the Cache County Council formally recognize and express our deepest gratitude to Chief Rod Hammer for his invaluable contributions and unwavering commitment to public safety in Cache County, and that this recognition be duly recorded in the council's minutes as a memorial to his service.
I'd second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
I'm not going to entertain an A, so. Thank you, Rod. Okay, our next item of business is the presentation of these beautiful girls that are here with us today, and Trish Gibbs. Is that who's going to, I don't know who's going to make the presentation, but they will do it themselves. Okay, if you girls want to, sorry, I keep calling you girls. I'm sorry to do that. They're beautiful young women.
They're royalty.
They're royalty, yes.
Hello, we're also excited to be here with you guys today, and my name's Abby Spencer. My parents are Scott and Devin Spencer. I live in Honeyville, Utah, and we all just want to express our gratitude for all of your support and all that you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Reese Page. My parents are Derek and Jamie Page. I've grown up in the Valley. I live in Nibley, Utah now, and I'm very grateful for your guys' support of our Cache County Fair and Rodeo. Thank you.
My name is Quincy Call. My parents are Brooke and Nick Call, and I'm from Randolph, Utah. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Hi, I'm Guthrie Miller. I'm the 13-year-old daughter of Ray and Krista Miller, and I'm from Crane, Utah. And I am so happy to have the opportunity to meet you all.
Hi, my name is Marley Hall. My parents are Kevin and Lindy Hall. I live in Lewiston, Utah, and I'm super grateful that I have the Cache County Fair and Rodeo to represent.
We're all so thankful to be here, and yeah.
I know that sometimes you guys, as part of your, the rodeos that you're a part of, you give a speech of some kind. Did someone want to share one of your, would you like to share with us? We'd love to hear it.
Share with you guys.
Okay.
My dad swore that he would never own horses. He grew up on a dairy farm in Wyoming where he had to do everything with the horses, and after spending his entire life with them, he wanted nothing to do with them. But this isn't a story about how much he despised horses. It's about how important your roots are. Without them, you would have no sense of identity, no traditions, and a lot less people in your life. My dad left his roots behind, moved to Utah, settled in the city, where he vowed that he would never own horses. But when I was 5 years old, my mom convinced him to take us on the family cattle drive. While on that cattle drive, surrounded by family, horses, cows, dogs, my dad realized how much he missed that lifestyle and how rare it was for people to grow up the way that he had. As for me, after going on that cattle drive, I fell in love with horses. It became a yearly tradition to go help chase cows and ride as a family, and I loved it. I began begging for a horse of my own at every birthday party, every holiday, and honestly, just any chance that I got. When I was 8 years old, my dream finally came true, and I got a horse of my own. Little did I know my dreams would continue to grow as we added Turbo, Amani, Chaos, and Belle to our herd. Belle was a special horse. She was the first horse that I ever really showed on. And Cache County is the first fair that I ever took her to. So if you were there watching an 11-year-old girl on a jumpy gypsy banner who was probably on the wrong lead, it was definitely me. I've grown and changed so much since then, and I love the Cache County Fair and Rodeo. For almost 150 years, the Cache County Fair and Rodeo has been a place for people to go to reconnect with their roots, and today over 50,000 people go each year to do just that. I hope to see you all there.
Thank you. Does anyone want to ask any questions of our rodeo queens? I will ask a question. Tell me, what was your favorite part of being able to be a part of this process? If one of you wants to answer that.
I just love everything about Cache County and their fair, the whole production. We have a beautiful fairgrounds at Cache County. If you go to any other fair, it just doesn't compare. I love being a part of the community and getting to help represent this lifestyle.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if any of the rest of you want to say something else. You don't have to. It's fine. We're just so glad you're here.
My entire family's life, it seems like, has revolved around this county fair and rodeo. Some of my first memories were even just helping my grandma in the crow's nest as she helped put on the fair show, or even attending the rodeo itself, surrounded by my friends and family. And so I'm most excited to help people develop some of the same family memories that I've had the opportunity to create surrounded by this rodeo, because it is the perfect opportunity to make those memories that grow to be treasures with your family.
Thank you.
I just love this rodeo so much. It's so fun to go and spend time with friends and family, and I love making new friends. And when I get to go to the Cache County Fair, you hang out with a bunch of people, and it's so fun.
I love this fair and rodeo and all the things it taught me. When I was 11, I won my first title with the Cache County, and I was a junior princess. I definitely was a little scared and a little unexperienced, but throughout my year of that reign, I met so many wonderful girls and wonderful people that taught me how to buzz an arena for my very first time, and I will always cherish that memory of this rodeo.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if you're, oh, did you get to speak yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for being here, and good luck with all of the competitions that you'll be doing during the rodeo. We'll watch for you.
Hey, thank you guys.
Should we say when the rodeo is?
Yeah, the rodeo is August 4th? 6th through the 9th. 6th through the 9th, okay.
Starts on the 3rd.
Okay,
It started a long time ago.
And it usually does sell out, right?
yes, yeah, they usually, the rodeos do sell out, so that's a wonderful thing. Okay, thank you. I don't know if you want to take a picture real quick in the chamber?
Come up here.
Yeah,
What's these really nice tables?
I know, I'm sorry about the tables.
Tables here.
We don't need
I
them
know.
Come back up here.
Come back up here behind those tables. Sorry about the tables. That was here for a previous meeting.
Yeah, they're blocking your nice
Yeah.
outfits.
Oh, let's all stand up. Okay. Can you see everybody? Scoot in.
Everybody's.
Maybe if the girls step back a little bit, then we can see them better. See if I can get you.
It's okay, you don't need me. You don't need to be.
Right there.
Want to switch spots?
Okay, that's better. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You bet. Thank you for joining us. Okay. That's fine, please. Yes, yes.
Thanks. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're not with the
You
rodeo.
guys aren't royalty.
You're not royalty, only royalty gets to leave.
Oh, no.
Those lashes aren't fun.
Royalty went first, the
Give us a
divas
wave.
went later.
Elbow, wrist.
Yeah.
All right, next on our agenda is the Voca Vawa CI grant updates. Sarah and Andrew? I don't know.
Andrew Crane with the County Attorney's Office. Just real quick, this will be brief. We just want to give a quick update on the Voca Vawa grants. Last time we spoke, we had mentioned that we had submitted the application. We're just waiting to hear back. Ultimately, on the VAWA side, you'll see that we asked for $400,000 for the next 2 years, and UOBC came back and approved us for $340,000. So it's a little less than we asked for, but honestly, it wasn't a shocker at the same time. So really, that's the update I want to give you on that point on the VAWA side of things. And the lion's share of everything, just want to give a shout out and kudos to Sarah for all the prep she did and all this as well. She's done much more on all that stuff than I have. So that'd be my main highlight there, pending any questions you have on the VAWA side specifically.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Andrew or Sarah?
And she'll come up and she has a little bit more to say as well. But,
Okay.
That, like I said, on just on the VAWA side of things, that was just my brief update on that front. So.
Okay, oh, there it is, good. Okay, thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, so kind of just piggybacking off of that. So mine is, we applied for 2 different grants. The VOCA grant, which is the Victims of Crime Act. That one we requested $200,000 per year. We were awarded $164,992.32. I don't know how we got the cents number in there. So that's our 2-year total that we received. And then we also applied for the Utah Victim Service Provider Grant. That's with the state of Utah. It previously was called the Criminal Justice Grant. Now it's the UVSP, which is the side of the Criminal Justice Grant. So that one, we applied for the full $75,000, and we were approved for the full $75,000 on that grant. Kind of like Andrew said, I think this is what we anticipated, to have some sort of cuts, but we wanted to make sure you guys knew what those exact cuts were. Our next slide just kind of just shows a little bit about some of the trends we've been seeing as we previously discussed. I mean, one of the biggest things that the Utah Office of Victims of Crime has talked about is the decrease in revenue. There's a lot of federal penalties that are not being paid, and so it's decreasing the funds as well. And so that's just a little bit of a report on that. And then I do have one other update on my last slide. So we're looking at what other additional funding opportunities can we look at. We've partnered with CAPSA, and we're putting forth as a sub-grantee for the ICJR grant. It's a 3-year grant that would fund 20 hours of a part-time person. And so we will find out about that grant in the fall, probably like early fall time, if we've been awarded that. So we're still looking for additional funding opportunities. I'm attending the funding summit tomorrow to try and just learn other ways that we can look for funding sources for the Victim Services Program and the Attorney's Office. So that's kind of our update with that. Any questions or anything that you guys might have?
Anybody have questions for Sarah? I think,
Thanks for all your work.
yeah.
Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate all that you have done for our programs. They're critical for helping victims of crime in our community. And so thank you so much.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, our esteemed assessor.
Yeah, thank you. Brett Robinson, the Cache County Assessor. Thank you for taking a little bit of time on your agenda. I'm here to discuss some corrections for the 2025 tax year concerning the primary residential exemption. As you are aware, the Utah Code allows correction if in the defect or form in the assessment roll with, after May 22nd with the consent of the council. So that's what I'm here for. In March, April, and May of this year, as we were preparing to close the tax roll and close it on May 22nd, we made a huge effort to make sure that the parcels receiving the residential exemption were in fact being used as someone's primary residence. We sent out at least 1,000 pieces of mail and their primary residential declarations, and we took a very close look at the short-term rentals. The result for 2025 that we removed about 380 homes receiving the exemption and added about 30. So the net for Cache County is that at the closing of the tax roll, we had about 350 fewer parcels receiving the residential exemption. However, since the tax roll was closed on May 22nd, we have received 17 residential declarations that we believe need to be corrected. So we sent those to you. We could require these property owners to go through the Board of Equalization. But where we have received the correct documents, at this point, the code does allow us to correct it with your consent. So that is what I'm requesting tonight, is that we correct those 17 parcels and give them the residential exemption. Very simple item.
Does anyone have any questions for Brett?
Need to be done by ordinance,
By motion?
by motion?
Just by
Yeah.
motion.
Somebody want to make that motion?
I would move to approve the assessor corrections that have been given to us for the primary residence tax corrections for 2025 tax rate roll.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the assessment roll corrections given to us tonight. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, public hearings, we're right at 5:30, so we need to set a public hearing. Does someone want to make that motion?
I move to set a public hearing for July 8th at 5:30, ordinance 2025-18-3 clustered homes, 15 acres ag rezone.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we set the public hearing on ordinance 2025-18. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, what about the next one?
Move to set the public hearing for July 8th, 5:30, ordinance 2025-19, Funk 160 acre Richmond gravel pit rezone.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we set the public hearing for ordinance 2025-19. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then it's time that we hold the public hearing for our budget opening. That up. Okay, Wes, is Wes here? You're gonna. Do we go through it?
see. Yeah, I'd
All right. Thank you, council, for taking the time to consider the budget amendment that we've prepared. I just wanted to point out, first and foremost, that item number 1 includes a mid-year 4% COLA for public employees excluding sworn officers. So there are employees at the sheriff's office that are not sworn officers that would fall under this amendment. We've basically got about $286,000 that would be appropriated out of the general fund. Out of the municipal services fund, we've got $36,720. Visitors Bureau, $4,600. Senior Center, $17,451. Airport, $4,966. And out of Fund 290, $5,430, or out of the Children's Justice Center. So again, this includes also a portion of those expenditures in the general fund are also being allocated to the tax admin fund to be reimbursed out of assessing and collecting based on the percentages that we have previously determined.
Wes, can you give us a total that would be out of the general fund balance, out of all those amounts that you gave us? Is that totaled somewhere?
So the total amount out of the general fund is the 286.
286, okay.
104.
Thank you, you said that, sorry.
And then any questions on the first item? Okay. Do you want me to touch upon each budget amendment? Is that?
No, I think that, I don't know, what is the rest of the council? Do you have questions about some of these? Have you looked at them?
Councilwoman, if I may. On number 3, which is sheriff's criminal, the sheriff asked me to note that that is not for training. That is for the hire of 2 new employees. By contract, Cache County School District will bear the entire cost.
So Cache County School District, okay.
Now, my understanding is we have contracts with the school district to cover that cost. Correct. And it's to provide, I think, training to the school district employees, I believe.
We are hiring 2 part-time employees by contract, guardians for the school district.
Okay.
So it's 2 part-time employees to be guardians at the 2 elementary schools that we can't get to. They're our employees, but we have to supply all the training, so we made them our employees rather than school.
Okay.
So they're employees, not training.
And even though that says it's coming out of the general fund, that's gonna, the school district will pay us back for that. Is that correct?
I have the contract already signed all the way around the radio station.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 2, again, is to address rotation on a motorcycle at the sheriff's office. Item number 4 is the sewer line that was repaired, that I reached out to the council via email, said, hey, Dennis would like to get this repaired.
Sorry, when you're saying item number 4, what are you referencing?
So there's,
yeah, there.
See a number?
Yeah, because you just said item number 4.
Administration facilities.
Okay. Oh, sewer line's not specifically line item, you're explaining.
yeah, I'm saying
Okay.
item 4
Yeah,
has to do with that repair.
okay.
what did it cost?
So I don't have the final costs. I'm requesting the budget amendment. So my understanding is we'd save 25 to 35,000. Dennis has those costs. We could come back and report to the council those amounts if you'd like.
Yes, we would.
So,
Yeah, because I think it's already been paid, hasn't it?
Yeah.
well, okay, if it's already been paid, then that's probably what we ought to be putting in there. Taking out of general,
We
right?
asked for that.
Yeah, I guess I'm
Don't
lost.
you take
'cause
$70,000 out if it only costs 35,000?
Right.
Well, it was more than 35. It would have cost 110 to 120 is what Dennis had told me. And so we were saving 35,000 by taking on the repairs while the construction was taking place out along the street.
I guess what I'm saying is since then, if we do know the amount, then that ought to be just, that's what the amount should be rather than
Sure.
what we just talked about.
But what you're saying is it's gonna be close to the 70,000.
Yeah, that's my understanding based on the amounts Dennis gave me for the amendment. So,
It's all good.
so in item number 5, we're not increasing the budget. We're just simply moving the budget from capitalized equipment to improvements. It should have been in an improvement account for the Deep Canyon Trailhead. Item number 6 is to move the budget from part-time and benefit costs to a full-time employee. The attorney's office would like to hire a full-time employee, and they believe based on the money they've saved in their part-time budget and their employee benefit budget, that they can cover the costs for half the year. Item 7 is to add 15,000 in professional and technical budget to cover legal fee costs associated with the personnel department. Item number 8 is the Wraps and Restaurant Awards that were approved by the Wraps and Restaurant Board that Alma has presented to you previously. Item number 9 is a request for a fan upgrade in the indoor arena. And it's based on the Municipal Services Fund. There were some dollars that we had talked about previously that were being deposited for a population portion for unincorporated county. We are building, or it was building a balance in that fund. And we're now looking to use that both for an indoor arena for a fan upgrade, as well as $76,000 for a trails programming. Item number 10 relates to a election supervisor promotion. Item number 11 relates to some software that the airport is requesting, as well as item number 12. Item number 13 relates to a piece of equipment that is used to drag across the runways to pick up any foreign debris, metal objects, plastic that might come off the planes or that might present a hazard. Item number 14 is to cover the costs associated with waste collection. This is the annual fee for the Cash Waste Consortium. Item number 15, as you are aware previously, the Senior Center is purchasing some vehicles. they've got the final costs on those. The majority of that was covered with donations that I've presented previously. We're asking for additional $7,356 so that they can purchase 3 vehicles and exhaust the donations. The second part of that relates to a walk-in freezer and a repair. They had a freezer, their walk-in freezer went down. So they had to, they had limited ability to provide those mills without getting that repaired pretty quickly. Item number 17 is related to education and training. They had, my understanding is, some more volunteers than they have had previously, and so they're looking to cover those costs of the instruction. Item number 15 was a donation, a charitable donation that was given to the Cache County Community Foundation. And we're passing that into the capital fund so that the fire department can use that for a capital improvement they have planned. Item number 19 relates to the 2024 award for Wraps and Restaurant Award related to the Recreation Center feasibility study. So they had an amount that was approved in 2024. It was never rolled into the 2025 budget. They also had an amount in the 2025 RAPS award, $70,000. So this is to bring the total budget to $145 for that study. Item number, there's a few items here with the Visitors Bureau. They had a vendor who produced an invoice from 2023 and said, hey, we neglected to bill you on this. So there are a few amounts there. 21 relates to a new contract with Graph PR for the publication and distributed through the Visitors Bureau. Item number 20 is to cover the cost of exterior signage on the historic courthouse. We're going to use transient room tax for that. Item number 23, request to cover one-time expenses for overhauling our tire register and inventory system. And item 24, they are constructing bathrooms in conjunction with the Forest Service and Cache County Public Works up close to Beaver Mountain. That's my understanding. Item number 25, the Development Services Department is requesting $35,000 to evaluate some of the different requests that come to the council to be able to use their professional services to help evaluate some of those different developments that are coming in, as well as some software costs of $22,000. The Open Space Fund, we are recognizing a donation for $500,000 for the Open Space Fund. Came into the Cache County Community Foundation and is being transferred into the Open Space Fund to expend. Item 28 relates to a PO for 11,000 North roadway construction, JUB Engineers. And I had forwarded you the memo that I had received from Matt Phillips, along with some of these other items. Item number 29, they're requesting a change for the increased cost of the generator. At the Public Works Hiram facility, item number 30 relates to increased costs associated with a plow truck. I know there were a few questions that were in appropriations. I don't know if to maybe call you on the spot, but Matt or Jeremy, do you have any? It was an increased cost to the equipment. Item 31 relates to the surveyor wages for half the year. Item number 32, we have just over $400,000 in LATCF funds that are sitting in the ARPA fund. They don't have as many restrictions as the ARPA does. We're looking to put those towards some storm sewer projects for $150,000. The South Valley Connector, we have basically a cost of $22,750 to the general fund to cover the work that UDOT is doing associated with that connector. So we're receiving some significant grants from the state on that. 1200 East, we're getting, again, some significant grants there. We do have to put up a couple $1,000s associated with that. Item 35, UDOT West Arterial Planning and Environmental Study. Then there are some closed POs that we're recognizing. Those are just closing in the general fund. They've been closed previously in the RAPS fund. We are looking for additional dollars associated with the Deep Canyon Trail and a 2022 restaurant award for $60,000. So the initial items, Deep Canyon, Trailhead Traffic Impact Study, we're closing for $14,500. The feasibility study associated with Hiram, Wellsville, Mendon Canyon Trail. We are also decreasing that and closing that PO. Smithville, Bonneville Shoreline, we have a closed PO of $9,900. So we're decreasing and closing those POs, and we're also looking to put some additional dollars towards Deep Canyon Trail. Item number 41 is the implementation costs as well as the annual fee. So those are, we have $96,000 in total software costs, of which I would say about half is to implement the software, and then we have an annual fee that we'll continue to pay. And that is to move the budget process to an electronic process. Item number 42, what I'm doing in item number 42, and it's quite an entry. In the budget process, when we developed the budget in 2025, we decided to combine the senior center into the general fund. But for reporting purposes with the state, it makes more sense, even though the general fund is ultimately putting dollars into that fund to have it operate. It makes sense to, again, have it tracked separately just to simplify the reporting process associated with the grants that they receive. So that was quite a lengthy process. If you go to page 11, it says use of fund balance. You had asked, Sandy, so it's with the, again, with the personnel costs, it's at 606,173 in the general fund. It's also referenced in the other funds you can see as well. Any questions the council has, I will attempt to answer.
Of the 606, 173, how many of that is going to be continued and ongoing then for the 2026 budget?
Well, for sure, the first one,
Oh, yeah,
The 286.
yeah.
and the survey.
Yeah, surveyor,
And the annual fee on the software.
On the annual fee on the software.
yeah.
Well, swallow the pill, guys, when we go to do budget this fall.
Take more than a pill.
First one's only for half the year.
I know.
You know. Okay, what other questions does anyone have? We went through some of these in appropriations, some, we asked for some clarification, and this was the clarification, so we didn't have a chance to talk about them during that meeting, but most of them we did. Does anyone have questions for Wes before we open it to a public hearing? Okay, thanks, Wes.
Thanks.
Okay. I'll take a motion to move into public hearing.
So moved.
Somebody want to second that?
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we move to a public hearing. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the time is now open to the public. If there's anyone from the public here that would like to make a comment about this budget opening, we'd love to hear from you. Seeing none,
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
moved and seconded that we close public hearing. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's time for us to talk about these amongst ourselves. The first one is a big one. And that will be ongoing. This is just for half the year.
So ongoing expenses are the 286.
No, that'll be doubled.
Yeah, so more like 600,000.
And surveyor's gonna
In
be
addition to
180,
the sheriff's request.
but that's not on this.
I know, but we gotta,
Yeah.
just to do that. And what was the other one,
The fee for the software for the
that was
auditor's office. And we don't know exactly how much that'll be.
Where is this 4% total?
96?
Yeah, it's 96,000.
96,000, so that's.
And then the full-time employee for the attorney.
Yeah. The
That should-
full-time employee and the thing, so it's like $1 million.
That we'll have to put
At
into
least.
next year's budget.
In addition to the sheriff's requests. Just for reference.
It has been brought to my attention that there are different departments within our county organization that are losing employees because of competitive pay. And so that was why I asked Amy if we were to give this mid-year raise, what would it cost? And so that we can discuss that as a council. If you'll recall, last year when we did our budget for this year, we did not give a full COLA raise or a merit in market. We cut back on that. So the raise that they got at the beginning of January was not what had been recommended by the personnel department. Just for reference. Anybody want to say anything?
I'll say that this email came in at 8:30 last night. I didn't see it till this morning. I was at work this morning. This is insufficient time for me to review it, so there's about 4 things on this list that I was aware of and feel comfortable on. The rest is very overwhelming and very uncomfortable to make a decision on behalf of my constituents.
I agree, and I've had this discussion with Matt and with Wes. We are in the process of refining this process so that in September, any future budget openings, there's several things that need to happen. One is that whatever we get at the appropriations meeting it needs to be finalized, because that was a week ago. And then anything that's talked about, like, we want to see actual receipts. We want to see some justification, actual receipts, some from the different departments that are requesting budget openings. So it is something we are it's all a process, and we are refining that process.
Yeah, like the auditing software, for example, if someone asks, how come software costs that much? I'd love to be able to give them an answer. This is the breakdown of how much it is annually. We didn't have an auditor before, now we do. This is what the clerk/auditor did last time to mitigate this. Like, I don't have answers to any of those, and so I want to be accountable to people's taxes.
Luckily, this is for initial consideration.
Yes.
So we don't have to act on this tonight.
Sure.
Nope.
So it's a little more time to do some more homework.
It just needed to come in time for the public hearing.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to suggest then. As you go through this and write down your questions, get them to Matt and Wes as quickly as possible so that we can get those answers and discuss them at the next meeting that we have. If we continue this, this budget amendment. Are there any of these things, Matt, that are time sensitive if we continue it for 2 more weeks before we pass it? Are there things that are going to be an issue? No. You can't think of anything? Okay. All right, so what I'm hearing is you guys just want to continue this and not make a motion on it right now? Okay. I will call that done. Okay. Everyone make sure you go through that and make your notes, and let's make sure we can get the answers that we need. Okay?
And with next week being a holiday too, the 4th is a holiday, right? So there may be some lessened availability.
And our next meeting is July the 8th, is that correct? No, it can't be the 8th. 10th.
Second
July,
week.
10th. July 10th.
Yeah, second Tuesday, yeah.
Okay. Okay, we will bring that up then. Okay, initial proposals for consideration. Oh, it is the 8th? Okay, I thought that's what I had heard, but
So the 4th is Friday, and then
the 8th will be
that's
Tuesday.
not a working, so really like 5 working days to get our questions in, right? I blessed the end of this week, I guess.
Well, they've got to go get the answers too.
Right.
So I would really suggest maybe by the end of the week, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion.
Yeah. I think that's a really good idea. Okay. Number 8A, initial proposal for consideration of action. We have ordinance 2025-20, the dispatch service fee assessment amendment. Is that you, Andrew? Okay.
So I just want to note on this, I did not receive final approval from legal, so this can't technically be passed tonight. However, I do just want to say that this ordinance, when given final legal approval to be passed, would essentially change the fee that is assessed in the unincorporated parts of the county to change it from $3 to $3.30 as it relates to 911 service fees. And then there was another provision in there saying essentially that council would revisit the issue to look at the annual increase by 10%. And anyway, once that's given final legal approval, I can have the rest of that written up in the ordinance as well. So, but if you guys want to discuss that or have any questions, I think that would be appropriate as well.
Does anybody have any questions at this time, or we'll just wait until next meeting to really review it and pass it?
I had a question about this. Maybe I'm mixing it up with something else, but was this the one where the Logan City's sort of managing it now, and then we were waiting for a letter from Mayor Daines to say if we did establish a district, was that the right word, that was outside of Logan, that the funds would go towards that, and we did receive that letter. Okay, yeah, so we may have that on the record already, but I think it's worth mentioning.
And what we passed before was the interlocal agreement with Logan City. This is to increase our fees so that we can.
Amending our fee
Okay.
Amending our fee structure, so. Okay, we'll wait till next time, Andrew, to hear about that one.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, ordinance, okay, that we're gonna continue the budget opening, so we're not gonna do that one. Pending action, the transient room tax amendments, 2025-17. Are you going to present on that one, Andrew? Okay.
So, I believe there was a copy handed out that showed some additional information when it comes to this tax, as well as how much projected wise the additional 0.25% would provide in terms of tax revenue. Sorry, I'm pulling up my personal documents.
Are you going to try and put that up on the screen?
I can definitely do that.
It just might make it easier for people to see what we're talking about.
This might be a question for the attorneys, or the option of going to the 4.5. Is there a hard, fast deadline when you have to do that, or can we revisit that in the future?
I actually don't know if there is a deadline or not. I know that Eric has been.
There is. It's July 1st. If we're going to do it for.
Apply for this year, yes.
To apply for this year, it has to be July 1st.
To apply to this year. But how about if we revisit it in January or something, or some other time? Can we do that? Or is that only on the table right now?
No, I think we can revisit it each year.
Okay.
Yep. I would assume so.
Yeah. Anybody else want to ask any questions about that? This is the 0.25%, where if we do not pass it, we are not eligible to apply for a grant from the state to reimburse us for search and rescue or some kind of public service, or what? How would I say that, Chad?
Emergency services.
Emergency services. Any emergency services that we can prove were due to visitors from out of our area if we had those costs. And when I talked with Chief Hammer and with Sheriff Jensen, they felt like those costs so far have been minimal in our county, that the services they have provided in the past have not been due to outsiders for very, like maybe 5%.
Yeah, if I could just make a comment. I think
Please, come up to the, will you come to the microphone?
raise my hand from my seat, but.
People online can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, this discussion is going on with the sheriffs across the state, and I think the big problem with the question that we're all being asked is, in your county, how many non-cash value residents are causing incidents in your county? And there's not a tracking mechanism anywhere in the state that any county's gonna be able to come up and say, oh yeah, in our county, in our search and rescue cases, it was 55%. So I think there's a bit of a problem with the tracking piece of it. With the search and rescue side of the funding, is there's also another piece of that I'm on the state board for the search and rescue reimbursement. That we receive most of our funds from the state from that service, and those fees come to the reimbursement part through vehicle OHV and snowmobile kind of registration stuff. So I don't know enough about the transient room tax to speak very intelligently about that. I'm just saying it's pretty hard for us. I don't have a mechanism to say what percentage of our calls for service is somebody from outside the Red Valley. The best guess is not many.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff. Anybody else want to say anything?
I heard from Julie from the Visitors Bureau, and it sounds like she and those in her organization were not speaking in favor of it. And I think she did say that she was reaching out to other counties to see if she could get some data on those that are and those that aren't, and what the reasons for adopting it or not were. I don't know if anyone's heard from her. I haven't.
She indicated to me that if we did not pass it, we would be one of the only counties that did not.
Right.
But that doesn't quantify, there's exactly how many are, but.
So in our last discussion, it focused mainly on the emergency services, but as I look at this,
yes,
we've got a lot of things we can use that money for.
And to me, that number 3 I think that's extremely
That's what I'm
important.
looking at, road
Yeah.
repair and everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Holy cow, why would we forego the opportunity of having that to help us on some of these
We do have a tremendous amount of road damage done, that we are actually putting out a lot of money. And,
Go to our trailheads and see how many out-of-state
exactly,
license plates
there,
are sitting there.
I mean, several of them that we need to have some mechanism to actually, not just increase, but just have access to another pot of money to help the mitigation of all those recreationists. So,
And Julie Hollis quantified that if we pass this, according to what we collected last year, it would be about $94,000 based on 2024 numbers. So that just gives you a ballpark figure of what kind of revenues the tax would bring in, the 0.25%. So maybe the idea to pass it is not just to be eligible for that reimbursement, but to be able to have monies available to help with.
Well, that's pretty broad, so we'd have a lot of opportunities to focus on where we're gonna use it, and go up in Logan Canyon any weekend, or any day.
Yeah.
It is packed.
Okay. Does someone want to make a motion on this? Like I said, there is a hard deadline of July 1st if we're going to consider doing it this year.
therefore, it's pending action, and I would therefore move to that we pass ordinance 2025-17 transient room tax amendments.
Second.
At 4.25%.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we pass ordinance 2025-17, the transient room tax amendments. Those in favor say aye.
Clarification, is that not 4.5 rather than 4.25?
No, it would take us from 4.25 to 4.5, but we are only adding the 0.25. That's all we're considering.
Okay. If you want to amend that and take it to the 0.5, we can do that too.
I don't think so. I think the 0.25 is all that we're allowed under state law. The state approved 1%. They're taking half of it. They're taking 0.25 of it and putting it in a state fund for reimbursement. Our portion that the counties are allowed to do is 0.25%. So that would take us from 0.425 to 0.45, 4.5. Does that make sense?
Well, and just before you ask for the vote there on
Okay.
discussion there, I just want to make sure that we heavily look at using those extra funds, even though it's only 94,000, that we do use that for law enforcement, emergency services, but road repair,
Absolutely.
things like that. I think that, I think we need to look a little bit broader on the use of those transient room tax dollars.
Okay. And I have made a commitment to our Visitors Bureau and hoteliers that I'm not going to vote for this tax, but
Yeah,
we'll,
same.
we'll still go back to, it's been moved and seconded that is there any further discussion? Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. It's 5-2. Bryson, did you get that? Okay, thank you. All right. Boy, we are doing good, you guys. Other business, discussion of the social for the council members. Where are we at,
Still on
Catherine?
there. I know it's still on there. I just need to come up with a date. No, it's summertime.
I know.
Everyone is busy.
I think we decided to wait till maybe late August
Yeah, we'll
to
take
try
it-
and put something
Let's
together.
take it off the thing so it doesn't haunt me that I'm not
I
going
say we just continue it as other business.
to. Keep continuing it potentially. Just keep continuing it.
Okay, Andrew, do you know more about this kickoff for the Utah 250 event at the Capitol on July 1st? Isn't that Monday? No, it's Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
A week from today.
I am not aware of a lot of information other than me, Barbara, and Karina Brown are going to be attending.
Okay, and it starts at 9:30?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Hiram City 4th of July Parade. What about the does it Lewiston have a 4th? Where's
Lewiston's not
are
on there.
we in the Lewiston Parade too?
I reached out and I got an email after this was printed, so figure it out, I promise.
Okay. So,
At the same time as last year.
same time as last year. But is it the Hiram one, does the Hiram one start at 9:30? I thought
Starts at 10, but
Starts
you
at 10, but you guys need to
need to be
get
there
there, line up
by
there.
9:30.
What time does the Hiram, or the Lewiston Parade start? It starts about the same time, doesn't it?
No, it's,
Or it's I think it's an hour earlier.
I don't know, what time is it?
But look, they're all, you can't be at both of them.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But I think I think Hiram or Lewiston starts first, and I wanna say theirs starts at 9 with lineup at 8 or 8:30. Hiram starts at 10, but lineups at 9 or 9:30.
Yeah,
It's only an hour
Lewiston's early.
between the two.
Okay, so do we want to designate who's going to which parades? And, because that means we're gonna have to have 2 different vehicles and split up. I think I went to Lewiston last year. I'd like to do that again. I liked doing I'll be at the Lewiston parade.
I'll be at Lewiston.
Yeah, I can do Lewiston as well.
Anybody else?
Hiram, guys?
I'll be at Hiram.
Probably higher.
Maybe Hiram.
I'm
Or-
not saying.
Come to Lewiston.
Barbara will decide that morning.
I will decide.
Okay, we can talk about Hyde Park at our next meeting, right?
Sure.
Okay. All right, council member reports. Mark, do you want to start us off?
Gee, there hasn't been anything to report for me since the last meeting.
Okay. Dave?
We've had a bunch
I
of
know,
meetings.
I've been to so many meetings, I'm trying to even remember.
You report the other meetings, but I did take a tour of the Utah Flower Mill up there north of Richmond, and they've invited all of us to go up there here in the future. It is an amazing facility. The volume that's coming through that, they've got 1 million bushel capacity of grain right now, and that's just phase 1. Phase 2 is coming. And what they'll be doing in with the rail car system and everything, it's an amazing technology, and everything's moved around by air and by gravity, and you're up 620-foot stories high is where that grain goes up and down and back. It's amazing quite the process, quite investment in money, and they were able to get it operated in 1 year. It's still being built, but as far as what operation to get flour over to Pepperidge Farm, that took 1 year's time, which is amazing. So, fire district, I'll let Catherine talk about that. That excites her a lot, and that's frustrating though at times, isn't it? It's a big task, the fire district details. And then Bragg, we went over to Bragg, and
Went to Garden City.
and tomorrow's Powder Mountain, and who knows where. So, okay.
Okay, Catherine?
We had the opportunity to tour the site of the new spillway. Nolan and I went to the Hiram Dam spillway, and that was fascinating. That's gonna be a project going on till 2029. So.
The road's gonna be closed that long?
Yeah, the road will be closed for that long. And saw their project and their plans there, and that was really interesting. Fire district, we're just moving slowly. We're just trying to make sure we get this done the right way. And so we're methodically trying to identify a timeline on where to really start, because, you know, we were quite hasty to get it formed, so we want to make sure that we get this done in the right order. So now we're slowing down to take some time to really get this done in the right order, and our first order of business is really establishing some agreements with the county on continuing service and continuing a lot of things as they are now before the fire district is fully functioning and paying for things, which will be a financial burden that the county will most likely take on until they can have a taxing. They're running to be a taxing authority. So that's what we established today, and there's a study group that's going to be moving forward with the first steps on that. So that's what we did in the fire board meeting today, and that was, I felt it was a productive meeting, as we were establishing those first steps.
Dave and I went up to the West Canyon Bridge in Avon. Got some issues there that's affecting some of our citizens. Hopefully we can figure something out. Matt with us, Jeremy, so appreciate their help. I want to thank the council and the Planning and Zoning Commission today. I thought today's meeting was very helpful. I hope we can continue doing that. It helps them, helps us to see what they're going through. There's a lot of challenges there, so I thought that was very helpful. And we got some important tasks ahead of us, but I would like to recommend we do that semi-annually or whatever, just to keep those guys everywhere. And they have given me some names that I can submit to the executive for another commissioner. So if anybody else knows any other commissioners, I'd love to hear those names so we can get one appointed.
Does that appointee need to be from the unincorporated?
We've got 4 from the unincorporated now, so.
Oh, it can be the
municipality.
They must have vested interest in unincorporated properties.
Yes.
Okay, Keegan.
Yeah, COSAC, so the Open Spaces Board, would like to do something similar to what Planning Commission did today. At first they were thinking July, but I got an update today that it might be August, so I think we're just gonna try and figure out a date that will work for the majority. I won't say everybody, because there probably won't be a date that works for everybody, but they'd like to do something similar. Airport Board, so we got a flyer for the Cash Air Fest. This is a free event this Saturday. I guess that we haven't had an air show like this in over 10 years, and so there'll be some aerobatics. The B-25 will be out, so just an event to promote the airport, and yeah, there'll be some food and stuff. The night before does have an admission. I think it's $10 for the food and the music and the live music, but the air show on Saturday does not. And then on the Visitors Bureau side, somewhat adjacent to that, there's a lot of activities going on next week. The Cruise In is an event everyone looks forward to. There'll be the car show at the fairgrounds and the parade. And then they also have a lot of productions going on right now. I think Scarlet Pimpernel is showing till the end of the week. So just mention that the arts are always an opportunity for people to do things. And then the last thing I want to mention is I was invited, I think we all were, by our county attorney, Taylor Sorensen, to attend some of the, I don't know what you call them, sessions, but I attended Judge Walsh's courtroom. I didn't know what to expect. He was doing sentencing that day. He received a recommendation from both the defense attorney and prosecution to forego a sentence for a gentleman who had sexually abused a 12-year-old girl. So Judge Walsh overrode the recommendation and did sentence him to jail time. So that was just, the whole experience was very interesting to me. And I have a 12-year-old daughter, so hit close to home on what a lot of our attorneys and judges go through on a daily basis. So it gave me good perspective. So I'd invite others to do the same if they haven't had that opportunity.
There are more opportunities on Monday, the 30th. There are dates if you haven't signed up for those.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, Barbara.
Just had a government conduct committee meeting, really hashed over a lot of things. It was really good. We're moving forward on that, and probably we'll have something brought before the council because there were a few little amendments that were going to be made, right?
Yeah.
Bryson? So, but I feel really good about it, and I think it's going to be a good deal.
Thank you for doing that.
At our next meeting, which will be July, we will choose a chair for that committee.
Okay, thank you. I've had a few budget meetings with different, with Matt and Wes, and talked about some of the different things as we work towards the budget that we need to pass for next year. I'm hoping we are streamlining that process, and we'll be able to have all the information that we need to make those decisions that we have to make. Catherine and I were in the Nibley Parade on Saturday. It was very fun. And mostly that's all the other things that everyone's talked about, but just mostly worrying about the budget right now. So, okay. I think with that, I think we can adjourn.
Can I just ask a question?
You bet.
Comment that Dave got a meeting with Powder Mountain. They've asked me several times to write them a letter in support of what they're trying to do, which really has nothing to do with me other than the response for search and rescue, law enforcement to all of Powder Mountain, which lies in Cache County, which we can't make that response. I provided the county attorney's office several months ago an MOU that's been in place long before I was ever sheriff. I think the thing is 20 years old, and there was, if I remember right, the MOU had something to do with taxes in lieu of payment for the services that Weber County provided. I just emailed her back today. She stopped by my office when I wasn't there. I'm not gonna write the letter unless I know that the MOU is in place and that everybody's good with that, because I'm not gonna sign us up for something that we can't do and you guys can't collect or pay for. So when you spoke with them, could you just see what it is that they really want from me on a letter? I'm supportive of it if you're supportive of it, because it really won't affect me on the response, because we can't get over there 99% of the time. But I think I told her we were waiting on this MOU, and maybe it's completed, I don't know.
Yeah, that should be addressed by the interlocal agreement
Yeah.
going forward, not just an MOU.
Yeah. So we're going to Powder Mountain tomorrow. Several of us are going to Weber County to look at that, and so we can ask them.
If you could, I mean, I'm not opposed to writing something in support, if you're in support of it. I'm just not gonna write a letter of support on something that I'm not gonna make a response to.
Yeah.
And pass that on to the Weaver County Sheriff. It really needs to be his decision, what he can do and what he can't, what Weaver County is willing to take in lieu of payment or whatever that goes with it.
As well as the master plan
Yeah.
is something that needs to play into what you would look at down the road too, right?
Yeah,
I think,
And that's not till later this year.
yeah.
Well, most of what they're gonna be bringing into the county, I mean, in the summer months, I can get over there most of the time. But how do you split hairs with response, like Cass County, you get it from May to September, and Weaver County, you get it from October to April. I think the response is always gonna be easier from the Weaver County side, and I don't wanna saddle the Weaver County Sheriff or the county council with some fee that can't be taken care of.
I think there is an interlocal agreement that is in the works, so that it spells that they provide it, and then I don't know what the cost will be to us, depending on the property taxes that we are collecting for those properties. And
As
so,
long as you guys are aware of it and
Is that in
what
discussion?
the response issue is, because it's historically it's been on the Weaver County side, and it probably should stay
We
with
should be doing both.
the Weaver County side.
we'll let you know where we're at too, so I wouldn't respond, like, I think you're right, just
why is-
wait and see what.
Has the interlocal agreement even mentioned
Yeah.
sheriff? I thought it was mostly fire.
Yeah, I thought it was just fire, so I don't know about search and rescue.
Well, who's requiring it?
All the search and rescue and any burglary, anything
Why are
that happens in Powder
Powder
Mountain,
Mountain's
that
asking
happens,
for
or
it?
that we can't make that response to the species, and we can't get over there. So
Yeah,
the law enforcement piece in the past has been taken care of by Weaver County with the MOU that I provided already.
Cass County helicopter.
oh, do we have?
I go to pilot school.
Or Razor, you guys will be like Baywatch, you get all the equipment.
Okay, anything else before we adjourn? Okay, I call this meeting over. Thank you, everyone, for being here.